Wonderful. We are live with our dear brother and sister, Mark and Sandy, and talk about this journey, this miraculous journey we have been on. And not just since you both had received the intention stick, but why we were guided into each other's lives years ago, that we truly know divine timing, why beautiful souls continue to come into our lives. And as when we four get together, wow, talk about the light hitting the heavens above and the stories being shared. And yes, it's hard for me not to share your story, but this is about you and Mark sharing your story. And I've always, as we say, world, this is Sandy and Mark. Mark and Sandy, this is the world.
All right, so I get to start. I will start with, first of all, thank you for inviting us to be on here to share with you, all of you, our story and our journey with the Tree of Life intention sticks, because I remember you called me up and said, okay, I gotta show you something. We'd worked together on our foundation stuff over the years, and probably hadn't talked in a few years. And you said, I got something I got to show you. And you just came back from Windsor Castle, and you had shared your story about how you developed the Tree of Life intention stick and the words that you put in. And we were fascinated with that. But then you showed the pictures of how the Tree of Life intention, the tree that you engraved on the intention stick, was actually on the actual door of the church that's right beside Buckingham Palace that connects. And that was like God bump moment, that this was not by accident, not a coincidence. This is like special. And, I asked you to send me those pictures. But not only that, we immediately wanted to be a part of that. We chose our words. We did our prayer for that. And then we immediately said, can we just take one right now? We need 11 more, but we talked you into getting one from you because they weren't really, and we marked what number they were. And I think they were in the, I can't remember, 20 something, I think was number one that had ever been made.
Well, yeah, you, by the way, just to share with everyone, you and Mark were one of the very first people to receive the first ones made in pewter, the first 2,500 that were ever made. And you said to Marla and I, can we just take one? And we're like, okay, because it wasn't even launched or anything. And we're like, okay, so we're like, here you go. And continue, because this gets powerful.
Yeah, and so we were so excited because a friend of ours had been struggling for many, many years, and we were meeting him for dinner right after, and we wanted to gift him one because he had struggled with a thynomas tumor that was removed out of his lung, an 8-pound tumor. And, he was like the story of Job in the Bible that we like to say. He pretty much had lost everything. And, he was at probably one of his lowest points. And so we ended up gifting him the intent. We explained, we showed the pictures. I mean, we basically had you repeat it. We recorded your story of how it was created, and we got really good at sharing that story because it's so powerful. Well, when he heard it, he was blown away. He chose his words. He put in 2 or 3 words right away at the table. We went to Fleming's. Was it Fleming's?
Yeah,
Fleming's restaurant. I remember that because he was just sitting there. And he immediately chose his words, put it on his neck right away, and he never took it off. And we have so many stories like that. Mark wants to share this because Lauren ended up living another 4 years, almost 4 years. But I will tell you that a year ago,
he was a lot more peaceful in those 4 years than he was before. He was very internally
grateful.
But prior to that, he was internally battling and
conflicted,
and we used to tease him sometimes and call him angry man, and just to give him a signal that, hey, you gotta cheer up. I know things are rough, but but he was not like that in those last 3.5 years. He was more of a understanding and peaceful soul, and that's what this did. You could see it the minute people would put it on. It would kind of change their energy, right? Their aura, just their whole feeling. And I just got to go back and say it was. It's so funny how we met, because my wife's never been into jewelry until she met you guys. And so I don't know if that's something I should be thanking you for, or I should be saying, what the heck? I got less money now since I met you. I'm just kidding. But you know, I mean, with the youngers, who I think was the ones that first told us about these guys, and we went.
Oh, sure enough.
I don't know how many years ago it's been, but it's just been a blessing to know you guys. So I just want to say that, because you said some nice things about us at the beginning, but you guys are real amazing people. So thanks for allowing us to do this. I wanted to share one story about the intention stick that really hit home with me. Sandy grew up with a good friend of hers, Scott, in a small town. And when I started dating and ended up marrying Sandy, a lot of her friends became my friends, and just a real close-knit group. And so we'd known Scott and Maury, his wife, for a long, long time. And we had found out that Scott was battling throat cancer, didn't have long to live. So we were planning a trip up to Calgary, Canada, to go see him, because we were told basically if we didn't come soon, that'd be it. And so what we did was we went up there, but I was struggling because I'd found out in the process that he was an atheist, and I mean full blown, and very angry at some things that had happened to him in his life from other people, and he was holding a lot of anger about a lot of things, which was not. When I think about him, he was always a happy-go-lucky, jolly guy, but lots of people like that. That's their outside face, but inside there's a lot of turmoil going on in there. Yeah. I remember asking for advice and guidance. I talked to you guys about it. I talked to another dear friend of ours who's been a spiritual mentor of ours, and she told me to pray about it before we.
Can I say one thing?
Sure.
Sorry. We had the intention stick for Scott in mind, and we didn't know how we could present it. We didn't know. We struggled with that, and that's why Mark had called, our friend Randy, to just get some advice. And he said, God will steer you, God will lead you. And so I actually, when we pulled up to the home, and we understand he was only given a couple of more weeks now, and it was rough. His wife prepared us. He looks a little rough, but he's happy. He's excited to see you, so that was good. But I purposely left the gift bag, in the car, because we still weren't sure, even when we drove up. And as soon as we pulled up to the lawn, to the driveway, he was waiting on the porch for us. And Mark got out of the car first, ran around. Scott greeted us and gave the biggest hug to Mark. I turned around and went, well, I'm going to get this bag, because it's just something's telling me we need to get this bag. And we went in the house after that.
So we were talking with him just about things and his condition and this and that. And I could tell that there was hope there, that he didn't want to really, we heard it was bad, but you could still see he was hoping there was an option. And I said, look, a lot of the battle about getting healthier is what you do within. I saw it with Sandy when she battled end-stage cancer, and her attitude was, in association with her connection with God, it was a killer for cancer. It couldn't last. And I got to tell you, this is why I'm kind of trying to find the words for this, but you had told us, Marla and Scott, you told us that this was designed to bring people closer to faith, closer to God, but not do it in a way where they're feeling like they're being pushed towards that. Because sadly in this world today, religion, say anything but God, say other words is so common that people don't want to be, preached to or converted or whatever the word is, that people use. And but yet everybody still is seeking God. but they really don't know how to go about it. And I think, what always hit me was the genius of what you guys designed was that it was neutral. It was about all the things that God wants for us, but it wasn't done in a religious context to open the door so then people could find out more about this good stuff and then learn on their own where all this comes from.
Yeah,
right?
Right. We said this is not about religion. This is purely spiritual. And whether someone says God, the universe, the source light, whatever that is to that person, for example, Scott, as you said, a full-blown atheist, he didn't believe in anything.
And so, well, and that was the thing.
He was very, very angry. And he had lost his job. He'd been let go. He hadn't worked in quite some time. A lot of other outside factors. And so he was probably at the lowest point. But when we came into their kitchen when we were talking, it was kind of like, how do we bring this up so that it's kind of like, so we just kind of brought it up, saying, well, they got to tell you about friends of ours and would show you the pictures. We started showing the pictures of the door and all your story being in London and how this thing had kind of taken off. And that's when Mark finally,
we showed him the actual words like faith and belief and love and all that, and I said to him, if you want to get better, one of the things you're going to need to do is you're going to need to believe, and you need to also believe that there's a God out there that wants you to be better. And without me saying anymore, he said, I believe. And he grabbed
picked
that
out
thing,
his words and he had it on.
He put several. Can I put more than one in? Like, this was a guy that is very scientific.
Yes.
And anything like faith, belief, love, he'd call it mamby-pamby flowers and pansies. And if it's not scientific, I don't want anything to do with it, right? Great guy, but that was how he was.
Mindset.
So, yeah, but he melted. He just melted. And what we had found out was that he did get closer to God in that process. He only had a few weeks to go. He lived a whole year longer. And his wife, Lori, still to this day talks about it was the best year of their 25-year plus marriage because of the peace that it brought.
One thing that happened for Scott, we saw the transformation of God working in his life. For someone who didn't think he was loved. They stayed at our house. They came down to Arizona to be treated. His sister started a GoFundMe for them. We're able to raise the money they needed to treat him here. It gave him an extra year, but it was the journey in that time, how we were sitting outside enjoying just our company that night out around our fireplace and our fire table. And he just started crying because he never knew so many people cared about him. People were donating $200, $100,000, $5,000. He was blown away how God was moving mountains in his life. And they said that last year they had no stress, no nothing. They were able to be a husband and wife, and the love that they had, and they were able to share. And he passed away peacefully, transitioned. And you know what? God bless him, because that we watched that transformation. It was an honor to be able to be a part of that journey.
Because if it's your time and God's going to take you, what a tragedy would be to be taken angry versus being taken and you're at peace with the people you leave behind. You're at peace with yourself. You know that you're loved. You know that you have love, right? Versus some of the things that go through people's minds, before their lights get clicked out. This is a real powerful thing. And so I just want to thank you guys for coming up with this. I know Marla had a lot to do with the start of all this, with the birthday gift that she gave you. That turned into the stick.
That's right.
Yes,
that's
right. The vision. And then,
thank you, Mark.
Right, we have to, beautiful, because we have to listen to the messages we receive. We usually dismiss them. If I wouldn't have seen the tree of life, and for Marla, and just the whole journey unfolding, absolutely. Thank you for sharing that.
It's being in tune with your heart, just like Sandy knew when you saw him on the porch.
Yes.
I have to go get that
Definitely.
bag. He needs to have this. You know, you have to act on what's coming from your heart.
And
If
you're correct, Mark. We had the honor to talk with Lori and share the journey, and she said to Marla and I, it was since that gift was given by you two, not us, that we have nothing to do with this. This is all coming from above. The gift you gave to Scott and Lori, she said to Marla and I, as you just said, was the most beautiful year and a half of their lives, and that he was beaming, and his family and the friends, and it was just, as you said, happy and peaceful. And he transitioned complete. He was
he
at
went from
bliss.
being negative Nelly to the most happy, loving person. I mean, it
We used to
was.
call him that, tease him too. He
I
didn't
mean,
like that.
I mean, it really,
But
it really
we
was.
didn't call him that the last year.
No.
No.
I mean, we miss him, we miss Lauren, but to see the transition they both had, because they were both incredible people,
Yeah.
they needed that healing in their life. And I didn't realize that something like this, because sometimes we try so hard as humans to help someone, to help them be better. And you know, other times we pray for it, we do all kinds of things, and those are all important. But I think to have something hanging on your neck that you can touch and go, you know, I put peace in here. I gotta focus on that. I put calm, and I put love in here. I gotta focus on that, because I know lots of examples in our own lives day to day where I'm faced with a situation. I got to talk to a difficult person, or I got to deal with a difficult situation. And it's very easy for our minds, right? Even if we've done our prayer time, once we're out of that sanctuary and we go into the big bad world, we sometimes tend to go with our mind, and all of a sudden we're in a situation where, you know, we may not respond the way we want to. But when you've got this on, it reminds you, whoa. It's kind of like that governor that keeps you grounded where you're supposed to be. I've had so many conversations I was concerned about going into, just because of past history. Put the words in here, pray on it, have the phone call, and go, man, I was loaded for bear, and I didn't get to use any of it because this person was such a wallflower, easy to get along with, loving deal. I said, what? Who flew in and jumped in that person's body? It was like a different. Haven't you experienced that too?
Yes, I love that, because yes, that was a story you shared, that you and Sandy put in peace and inspiration, and it was the most beautiful conversation you guys ever had. It was peaceful, it was successful, and again, that's the harmony, and that was from across the world. And this is what people don't understand when.
And that was not one-on-one. That was over a long distance. Yeah,
that was over a long distance, and
yeah.
You guys are one. So thank you for the gifts that you're sharing with us in the world, because there's no words to share how much Marla and I love you both. And the souls,
love you guys.
Love you guys too.
hundreds of souls you've touched and gifted the intention stick in, and the miraculous stories you continue to share with us, and them watching their journey continue and be successful, or how it's changed their lives. And we would never get off this call, but what was so beautiful that you took with an incredible group of dear friends, and you went to Israel.
Yes.
And you presented all of your friends in Israel the intention sticks, which was, we felt that from the other side of the world when that happened. I mean, that's the connection. That is the energy. That's the collective. And this is what we
had an amazing tour guide with us, and he was shy. He was amazing. And we were on the bus. There was, I don't know how many of us there, 25 or something. And we said, look, we were glad the last couple of days, and we said, look, this has been just an amazing trip. It's like we lived through the Old Testament and New Testament all in a 10-day period, and it was so neat to live it live. And we were so inspired, and we had these in advance, and we were praying on them wherever we went. And we gave them to everybody, and everyone was so appreciative. And then we gave one to Shy, and he was so blown away. And he goes, "Can I have one for my wife too?" And like, we had a few extras, thank God. Remember that?
We only
so
had
pumped.
2 extra. And we didn't know where we were gonna, we brought them just in case, but we didn't know where we were gonna utilize them. And we gave it to Shy. We presented, because we tell the story, we show the pictures, we share the story.
Oh, which is always about you
And
guys, your whole journey of
but
how
we-
this came to
And
be.
if you know Shy, he's like his name. The fact that he said, "Do you have another one for my wife?" He was not shy.
Wow.
It was, that was a huge, because the people who put on this tour have known him for years, and they were blown. They all looked at their gifts. They were just mesmerized by what they got to receive this gift in the Holy Land on that special tour. So it was a huge success. That's all I can say for everybody involved.
Unbelievable. I seriously, like I said, we could talk for 9 hours, but I want you to share to have people understand the miracles that we're witnessing.
Yes.
The one late afternoon you were in Dr. Dino's office,
Yes.
and of course Dr. Dino wears one, and he says to Sandy, "By the way, what intentions do you have in your intention stick?" And you took it out. So you're going to share the story because it was wow.
Yeah, so Dr. Dino Prado is my doctor that I met when he was 26 years of age, and I was diagnosed with a late stage colon cancer. And the Mayo and Sloan Kettering had given me this is like 19 years ago this year, on September 11th. 2001 was my surgery that day. And Sloan Kettering and the Mayo basically gave me less than a 30% chance. It was a 99% chance because the cancer was so aggressive that it would be back in the first year. So basically, we were told to get our affairs in order. I was 39 at the time. Our kids were 8 and age 13. And so Mark just wouldn't say no. And so he found through a friend of ours at our gym, believe it or not, our gym trainer said, "You need to go see this other doctor." And Mark had met this doctor before. It helped him clear up his sinus, a natural medical doctor. Mark went to see him and said, explain my story. Needless to say, we go to meet this Dr. Prado that he referred, that had just set up the first day of his practice. And in walks Mark and I. He's praying for patience and I'm praying for a miracle. And we got both. It was a match made in heaven is the only way. He was 26 years old. He looked like Doogie Howser. I looked at Mark and I go, we have been in front of the best people. And it was the day I got out of the hospital of the Mayo. Mark took me to meet him. I started my treatments on Monday. He was the only doctor that prayed with me and prayed the forgiveness prayer and the healing prayer, because he says, you've got to get rid of all your baggage before you can truly heal.
Yes.
And that anyone who wounded me, anyone who hurt me, any circumstance, whatever the case was, forgiveness was the first step. And needless to say, here we are. It was like 18 years later, I gift Dr. Dino, a intention stick. So he had, and we'd been in a couple of meetings here and then. And finally, one day, it was just us in his office. And he says, by the way, what are your words in your intention stick? What do you have? And I was thinking, gosh, you know what? I haven't changed it out in probably like 4 or 5 days. Let me check it. I always had health. So I've been wearing it for at least a year or 2 years. And it had always had health. And then I would have knowledge or whatever in there. And, and peace or wisdom was another one. And I dumped it out on his desk and I go, oh, yeah, there it is. See how right away, he looks at the health one. He takes it with his finger and he slides it and goes, why do you have that one in there? God already answered that prayer. God already blessed you with the gift of health. You don't need that. And I kind of went, oh, I guess you're right. Like, not thinking. I'm just like, just in case you didn't get the first time, I'm going to carry it around everywhere. And so I got home that day. So I put everything back. I come home and I figured I'm changing it. I'm going to take it out. I'm going to change out my words now because it bothers me that it's in there. Well, do you know, when I got home to this day, I have no health. So I texted Dino and I said, would you happen to find my health in your office under your desk? The health words,
inside.
Attention.
Insert.
And he looks and he says, no, it's not here. And I said, well, I'm looking at.
I scraped it out with a pin, made sure it was not stuck to the
There's
sidewall.
nothing.
I'm going, come on, there's no way. It was gone.
It was
So-
gone.
It literally
Gone.
disappeared because you,
Disappeared. I
as
still
you
don't
know,
recognize
you've got that. You don't
Yes.
need it. And
Yes.
Yeah,
Wow.
and I was gonna say earlier, but this also applies to you, to your story with regarding the stories we were sharing about transitioning and what we're able to do when we gift
Yep.
this and what happens, but also regarding your story of you've got this, you've got health, and you know what,
Yes.
we would say that this is God's wink.
Yes. It's
Right?
exactly it.
absolutely,
It's God's way, just making sure.
And just for the record, when she was saying that, Dr. Dino said you have to pray first and forgive people and people that have hurt you up, she was not having to do that with me. I had nothing to do with that. That was other people in her life prior to me showing up. Just want to make sure anybody listening to this is going,
Gotta
oh,
clarify
We
that.
gotta get that
We
one.
got that one. That one's
not yet. Not yet. Okay. So hopefully never. And so, anyway, you guys are very kind and gracious and thanking people you interview like this for what they do. But if it wasn't for you guys,
Yeah, creating
this wouldn't
movement.
be out there. This very simple but powerful tool that can be a shift change when life gets chaotic or troubling. To keep you on point is really important, and I really believe it does all point to God. But it does it in a way that people don't even realize it's happening to them, and it's a beautiful thing. And because it's their own journey, they stick with it versus it being somebody else's journey they're trying to listen to. Does that make sense? That's the genius of it.
Yes.
Yeah, and you
So
guys figured that out on your own. I mean, that's pretty powerful stuff. Nobody else. Well, you didn't consult with anybody else, and you did this.
No,
I mean,
we just listened, and it's what you just said, Mark, is so beautiful that it's allowing that individual to find their why, their purpose, their happiness, and for the first time, we start to look for the answers within or
Yes.
above, of course, to be guided and to trust and to know that we're going to stay on that journey, that path with a heart.
And everyone wants
that's
to.
important because it's easy to forget that.
Everyone that is of this world wants to have a life of significance, that their life matters, whether it be how long or how short. I really believe that I wanted to know that I could make an impact. I know that's how Lauren felt and Scott felt, and anyone who puts these on this is just another arrow in their quiver that they can use as a tool to be able to either bless others with it or be blessed because of it. So it really is, it's a twofold.
And it's about also finding the why and having that soul to soul connection, because we're here to touch another soul.
Others.
Meaning, as you just said, it's to make someone else feel acknowledged that they matter, that they do have purpose, that they are loved.
Yes.
And that's what this is allowing us to do, because it's nice and helpful to give $1, but what's more impactful is to recognize another soul. And to help them overcome a circumstance that they might be going through, and to make sure that they're aware of their inner self, to bring out their self-esteem and their self-worth, right? And that's our job.
And it really is a symbol of love. To be able to get or to be able to gift. It's all, that's what it encompasses. And I think that when you give something like this as a gift, you're showing how much they're loved. Does that make sense? And so that's what we saw, being able, it was way more fun to give, let me tell you. You could see that they were so grateful, so thankful that somebody thought of them, that they could be able to participate and be a part of this movement. It's powerful.
Wow.
Sandy, we had a conversation with a friend the other day, and she said that her sister, when she saw this, her sister wanted to come in and get one for a friend. And our friend said to us, oh, no, I'm going to go get them. Let me get them, because she knows what it feels like to be able to give.
Yeah.
That's
She
it.
says, no, you're not getting them. I'm going to
It,
get
it
them.
was amazing, and that's so beautiful. And we just need a sleepover. So we just have this play 24/7. It'll be like a marathon of us.
Be
But
careful, Scott. You just said something.
no, I know, which we have had. But how would you? How would you both share to someone that hasn't received one yet, or how this would help them impact their lives, or the beautiful souls that they can impact like you have, and it's countless.
Or if they're considering getting one, what would you share with them of why they need to go get one? Is that
All right, I'll go for it.
Oh, you locked up.
Inventory on what you do have good going on and the blessings that you do have. Because a
Mark,
lot of times we
start again because you paused for a second. Your screen had froze. Sorry, say that again. You shut out for just a second.
very little things that are still important. So, it helps people take inventory of things that they have going on for.
Hi, that
Hey,
is so weird.
You froze up and then it just went to our picture. So we were by ourselves running the show on Facebook saying hi to everybody.
We're
So
still live on your side.
what?
it was
You're
still
still, I
live?
think we're still live. It says, hold
Oh
on.
yeah, it still says live on
Yeah,
Facebook.
so-
I said,
Sorry,
I
guys.
said,
Okay.
hi, I guess Scott Marla left us to run the show, so we're going to take it from here.
It is, okay, no, continue. So it literally, our connection, as we say, our angels were messing with us. So I'm glad it continued. So
Yeah,
I'm
we
glad
just
you shared
got
your
here-
story. We'll have to watch it to see what you shared. So
Uh-oh.
thank you for sort of having our back. So you guys are funny, but it's, okay, good. I'm glad it still
The
continued live.
conversation was
So-
quite amusing. We kept looking at each other going, well, what do we do now?
Good. It's just a little test of trust the journey. Everything happens
That's awesome.
just
There's
okay.
always something happens.
Oh my
with us.
goodness, God!
So
The people that are watching.
what I was saying about what somebody about get an intention stick, what it did for me? Did you hear
they
that?
got that.
No.
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 That's why
Oh,
you
you
cut out.
didn't get that.
Oh, you didn't get that.
No, you cut out.
I talked about it helps you take inventory of your blessings first and foremost, because we tend to forget those things. Even if things are going really not that great right now, we all still have blessings that we have going for us, that we have to have a starting point somewhere. So this helps you remember those. And then it also gives you a feeling of peace that things are going to get better because you're not alone. That wants more for you, has his arms around you. And this just helps you start to seek that more. And the more you seek it, the more he comes. We think sometimes he's just going to show up, but he shows up when we seek. And when you seek it you bump into that. And so that's what it did for me. And I know from talking several other people, that was those two big things. So I just wanted to share that. And what was yours?
Oh, that's so beautiful. Yes, it's that gratitude that we always have to be in that state
Right.
of. We opened our eyes this morning. Marla and I talk about this every day. We are so blessed. We already have so much. It's not, we need so much more of this. No, just as you said, you're taking inventory of how blessed we are. I love that, Mark. What were you going to say, Sandy?
I was just going to say, I think the energy begins, the journey begins the minute you start to look at the words. Because now everyone had said they look at the words and what's the top 2 or 3 that jump out at them. And that is where all the energy starts to shift, is when the exercise begins, or the new journey. Like I said, the energy starts to take place of your desires of what you want to see have happen in your life, or come to you in your life, or what you want to exude in your life with others. It all begins in the choosing of those words. As soon as you see them, everything starts to take place in that shift. And so that to me is where it all begins.
Wow, that is so beautiful. And right, meaning to truly speak your truth, to choose not the facade, what everyone thinks we need. What does
I need?
Sandy need, Mark need,
Your
Marla,
soul.
Scott need, our soul, exactly. What does our soul need to make us the best version of who we are so we can help one another?
And it's like the secret, it just all starts to come together, envelops you, and that's your intention that you set out.
Wow.
You guys have impacted thousands of people's lives with this, and
Yeah.
we know the day's coming where billions will be impacted by it.
Yes.
And you know, to us, it's just like you know, we're in the finance business, and compound interest, you know, goes like this, and then all of a sudden it goes like this. You know, it just seems like it's taking forever, and all of a sudden, poof, you can't stop it. And that's what's going to happen here, because you can't stop love, you can't stop the goodness, you can't stop God. So it's going to be great.
Oh my goodness, you're gonna make me cry, and I am the overhugger crybaby.
Come on, again?
No,
I
but
do that to you all the time.
I know, but thank you, because it's why we're here. It's why we're all
Yes.
here. And when we can truly, as this beautiful world, see that and stop trying to force what everyone else thinks is correct, and just listen to your heart and the love that you just said, and know we're here every day of our lives to just help one more soul, another 100, another million, another billion, billions.
Mhm.
And this is what we're doing for our children and the grandchildren and the great great grandchildren. And that's there's no words. We thank you for the love you continue to share, the support, the kindness. And as you both know, and we say this every time we see one another, you are as important to this as Marla and I, and this is about us collectively. And we don't stop for a moment, because that's why we're here.
That's why we're
Well,
here.
you guys are wonderful people, and we thank you for all that you do. And
Yeah.
it's just, we feel blessed that you're in our lives. So love you guys.
Can't wait to see you soon.
We
Oh,
love
I
you
know. We
guys.
can't wait for the real hugs versus the
Real
virtual
hugs,
ones,
exactly.
even though you're with us every day. And
Yeah.
anything else you
No,
want to add?
no, we love you guys so much, and so grateful that we're walking this path together.
Yes.
Yes.
Us too.
We're excited. It's
Yeah.
going to get good.
And
Hang
we
on for the
are-
ride of our lives.
Oh yes, as we say, we need to just tighten that seatbelt a little tighter right now, because
And get a bigger boat.
we're gonna need a bigger boat. I love you, love you, love
Love
you.
you
And
Love you guys.
and we're, as you know, our sign off.
We honor you.
We honor you, and we're sending you and your beautiful family blessings and
you.
intentions of
Oh,
gratitude
thank you. And same to you guys.
and
Love you guys.
Mwah.
Mwah, mwah. We'll see you
Talk
soon.
All right. Bye, guys. Love you all.
Bye. A biento.